Hey guys, today we're going to do a video on a board from last night, declare play technique, and it falls in the family of not drawing trump prematurely type hands. So this one's a little bit advanced, but I thought, it'd be good to go over the board and to show you some of the ways that you can use bridge base to walk down different declare play and defensive lines and use gib and improve in areas where you made mistakes and took fewer tricks than you could have. I'm too excited to do anything other than make a video this morning. The Braves and Reds are getting underway about noon, and I've got a couple of hours of nervous energy here, so time to crank out a video. I think I'm going to do a second video today, actually. The second one's going to be on a flow chart for what to do when they open the bidding in front of you. So it's very basic, but maybe it'll help you go down the right track on some of that. So that'll be the second video today. Anyway, without further ado, I was sitting last night when this email floated in. This one I've got pulled up right now from John Cobb, who's my Thursday partner most nights. And the email just simply is titled Board 15, and the body of the email is, I blew this board against the Joyces and realized it immediately. It would make a good lesson hand. 5 hearts against a club lead. So I'll walk you through like what I would do when an email like this floats in. So first of all, we go over to Bridge Base, and I'm going to go to my History tab. Click on last night. You'll see that Audrey and I had a fine score of 41%. Board 15. So you'll see that at our table, we defended against 4 clubs, which was not ideal for us, both because it made and because we can make game. And yep, 10% for us on that board. Anyway, I go down here to other tables and try to find someone playing 5 hearts. Okay, and it turns out there's a couple people playing 5 hearts. And here is the table where John Cobb played 5 hearts against a club lead. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go down here and turn gib on. So it's show double dummy. And you'll notice that all the cards that K could have led are either the contracts of maker. Actually, a major suit lead would let it make 6. Okay, so what show double dummy does is at every point in the hand before somebody plays a card, it tells you if everybody plays optimally from here on out, this is what leading this card at this point will lead to. Okay, and so another thing we can do here is walk through the tricks, by going next trick to see what actually happened at the table. So you'll see she led the ace of clubs, and John trumped it. It's a good start. If we think about our tricks here, counting tricks, if the spades break and the hearts break, it looks like we're going to have 5 spades, 5 hearts, and a diamond trick. We have the queen and the king of diamonds, maybe even a second diamond trick if we can get either the jack to fall short, or if we could get somebody with ace doubleton, if we could lead through them once. Anyway, it looks like there are definitely 11 tricks available here, okay, if things break normally. So I imagine the next thing that John's going to do is pull a couple of rounds of trump. Okay, we don't need South's trumps to rough anything from the north hand, it doesn't look like. So he pulled 1 round at trump. Remember, the opponents have 5. We have 8. The opponents have 5. Quick tip, if you've never heard it before on drawing trump, counting trump, start with the number that the defenders have. So here, 5, and then count down towards 0. That often will make your life easier rather than trying to count up to 13. The problem with counting up to 13, first of all, it's more difficult to do. Second of all, you've got to remember, like, if people trumped in at certain points, it's a lot easier to start with 5 and work back to 0. So we noticed that both people follow to the first round of trump. And on the second round of trump, East is going to pitch a diamond. Okay, so this is not good news. And you'll notice at this point that our gib says if declare continues pulling trump at this point, it's going to lead to down 1. And why is that? Well, the problem is that the north hand, the master hand, the hand with more trumps, is going to get what's called tapped if we pull trump at this point before we knock out the ace of diamonds. And if we don't leave south with a trump, the problem is they can run the clubs and get to the point where west actually has more trumps than north does. Or if north pulls all the trump and now tries to knock out the ace of diamonds, north south don't have any trump left to stop the run of the clubs. Okay, so you will see on Gibb here at this point that continuing to pull trump, exhausting south of his last trump, will lead to a set. Okay, let's see what John actually did. He started running spades, so this is fine. And at some point, we're going to need to knock out the ace of diamonds. But what he actually did was play the last trump, and that's fatal at this point as far as the success of the contract goes. Now he's limited to 10 tricks. Okay, because when you play the last trump and pull west's last trump, the problem is now we can run our spades, but when they get in with the ace of diamonds, we have no more trump and we're down one. So let's do something different here. Let's export this deal. So we're just taking the deal diagram, go to export, and we're going to do this thing called hand viewer link. And it gives you a URL here. We click on it. It says leave site. Changes you made may not be saved. That's fine. Go ahead and leave. And what we're going to get is a different tab with just this hand. And this time what we're going to do is play it to the point where we could still make the contract and watch what happens if we play the hand correctly. Okay, you saw the peril in pulling all the trump. It leads to down one because we never get to score our diamond trick. We never get to score our 11th trick. They just get to win the ace of diamonds and run the clubs in the end. Okay, so we're turning Gibb on again. And we are going to fast forward to the part of the hand where the mistake was made. So everything was fine up until this point. Okay, we've roughed the opening lead. We've pulled two trumps getting the bad news, and we've played 2 rounds of spades. That's actually fine. What needs to happen now is that we set up a diamond trick. Okay, so let's turn on our Gibb, and with any luck, what it's going to tell us here is that we have to play a diamond at this point. And that agrees with our analysis. You'll notice that, leading a diamond at this point, you have a green equals sign. The other cards are down 1 or down 3, depending on which wrong card you play. So what we're going to do at this point is we're actually going to hit the play button. And at this point, we can deviate from what actually happened into a what if universe. So what if we played the right card at this point? We'll continue to keep our Gibb on here. So East at this point would have kind of what's known as a Hobson's choice. Okay, you could duck the diamond. And what that would do is now we can just go back to pulling the trump and running our spades. We would get our diamond trick in the bag for our 11th trick. Okay, so if he ducks, all that South needs to do is play the king of diamonds. And you'll notice that North-South at this point has 6 tricks. Now we could go ahead and pull the trump, right? We could play Queen Jack of Hearts as 8, and the Queen 9-5 of spades would get us to 11. Okay, so at this point we could pull the trump and make the contract. So let's rewind and see what happens if instead, I guess I've got to hit the play button again. Okay, instead, what if he flies the ace of diamonds? Well, we've got our diamonds set up again, but the problem here is that since West and North have an equivalent number of trumps, if East-West play clubs at this point, they can tap the dummy, right? They can get the dummy down to fewer trumps than West has. So East's best hope at this point is a club, right? If he plays any other card, well, if he plays the Jack of Spades, his partner can ruff, and that'll be the end of the defense. If he plays a diamond at this point, she could ruff that, so that's fine. Okay, so at this point, the best thing that East can do is play a club. And what's going to happen is West should, leave him on lead here, because if Declare decides that it would be a bright idea to duck this, East would still be on lead and could give his partner a spade or diamond ruff for down one. So she's going to do that. And we have to ruff. Okay, so at this point, we are what's called tapped. All right, but if we are careful and don't pull the last trump, instead we run our side suit winners, what's going to happen is West can trump at some point, but now she's the one with the Hobson's choice. Okay, she could, if she ruffs, say with the 7 of hearts, she could play her last trump and North-South's hands are good, or she could persist with the club attack. But why that wouldn't work is because South, the holding without the master trump, could now take the ruff, right? Okay, so at this point, let's turn on Gib again, and you'll see that we can't afford to pull the trump. What we have to do is run our side suit winners, and in fact, we've got to run diamonds at this point. Okay, so high card from the short side. If she wants to just let you win these, we just keep on running winners, right? So let's say she roughs in and plays a club. I hope you can see that if she plays a heart at this point, it's just Declare has the rest of the tricks. So the only tricky thing we can do at this point is play the king of clubs. Turn on our Gib, and we have to pitch a diamond from the board. And ruff this. And now all we have to do is run all our diamond winners through West. If at any point she wants to trump, we over trump and the board is good. If she throws all her clubs, in the end, at trick 13, she'll be left with the 8 of hearts while the dummy has the queen. Okay, so pretty involved hand there. But again, it follows the general principles of not pulling trump when you can see the peril in that, right? And if we pull all the trump, East-West, before we knock out the ace of diamonds, East-West ends up with the ace of diamonds and 2 clubs in the end for down 1 and 5 hearts. So I hope that helps you with that type of technique, and with how you can export a hand to a new tab and analyze different branches of play, either from a Declare play perspective or defensive perspective. All right, so that does it for this video. I'm going to make another one here in a few minutes on what to do in overcalling situations. Go Braves. Hope you enjoyed this video.